Alarming signs in the final stage of life. Aging and silent warnings. Anyone with elderly loved ones will notice that the aging process doesn't always happen suddenly. In reality, the body often sends signals long before serious health deterioration occurs. These signs can be small changes such as altered eating habits, mild memory loss, or shifts in daily behavior. However, these signs are not always recognized in time, and only when the decline reaches a more severe stage may families realize they have overlooked important clues. The importance of early recognition of these signs. Identifying early signs of health decline not only helps caregivers prepare mentally, but also enables families to provide proper care, enhancing the quality of life for their loved ones in their final years. Understanding these signs can help you create meaningful moments, cherish the remaining time, and ensure that the elderly are treated with comfort, respect, and peace. Number 1. First sign, significant weight loss. Unintentional weight loss. Unintentional weight loss is a health sign that many people do not recognize or may overlook. However, this is an important indicator, especially for the elderly, of a decline in bodily functions. This change, although it may occur slowly and gradually, can lead to serious consequences if not noticed. When clothing becomes looser, it may not only be a sign of lifestyle change, but also an indication that the body is losing a certain amount of mass without a clear reason. This could be a sign that internal organs, especially the digestive system, are weakening. When the function of these organs is no longer operating effectively as before, the process of absorbing essential nutrients is disrupted, causing nutrient deficiencies and leading to weight loss. The weakening of these organs does not only occur due to natural aging, but can also be related to underlying medical conditions. Cancer, for example, may not have obvious signs in its early stages, but can strongly affect the body's metabolism, causing the body to lose weight without a clear cause. Thyroid disorders are also a contributing factor to metabolic changes, resulting in unexplained weight loss. Impact of muscle loss. Muscle loss is one of the most noticeable consequences when the body is not supplied with enough nutrients and is not properly exercised. This is particularly dangerous for the elderly, as muscle deterioration not only affects mobility, but also reduces the quality of daily life. The lack of muscle mass makes them more likely to experience weakness, difficulty in moving, and an increased risk of falls and fractures. In addition, muscle loss also negatively impacts other important physiological functions. Muscles not only play a role in maintaining mobility, but also significantly affect the production of growth hormones and other protective factors in the body. When muscle mass decreases, the immune system also weakens, making the body more susceptible to infections and chronic diseases. This becomes even more dangerous when many serious illnesses, such as cancer or chronic infections, can develop without clear symptoms, making them easy to overlook. An important factor to note is that maintaining muscle mass is not only beneficial for physical health, but also supports the maintenance of bone density, which is especially important in preventing osteoporosis, a common issue among the elderly. Changes in appetite and cravings. The appetite of elderly people often changes due to many influencing factors, from the aging of senses such as taste and smell to a decline in the sensation of hunger. When these senses are weakened, food no longer appears as appealing as before, causing the elderly to lose motivation to eat properly. However, this is not only a natural change, but can also be related to serious health issues such as depression, cognitive decline, or neurological disorders. An elderly person may experience a lack of interest in eating or even forget to eat due to cognitive decline. This not only affects their energy and physical health, but can also lead to a decline in mental health. Meanwhile, nutritional deficiencies from an inadequate diet can lead to problems such as weakened immunity, increased risk of illnesses, and reduced quality of life. Impact of underlying medical conditions. Chronic diseases such as heart disease, cancer, or kidney failure can develop silently, without obvious symptoms at first. However, Unexplained weight loss is an important warning sign that the body is facing a serious illness. Early detection and treatment can save the patient's life. So unintended weight loss should be closely monitored and thoroughly checked. In addition to physical illnesses, psychological factors such as depression and anxiety disorders can also affect appetite. Depression, for example, can reduce appetite or cause the patient to lose interest in eating, thereby leading to unintentional and unexplained weight loss. Number 2, profound fatigue and weakness in the final months of life. A natural and deep emotional transition. Fatigue and weakness are undeniable signs in the final months of life for the elderly. This is a natural transitional phase, not only for the body but also for the mind, as the human life process enters an irreversible state. This change is not always easy to recognize, but when we understand it clearly, it becomes easier to support and accompany the elderly during this stage. The body slows down and energy declines. As the final stage of life approaches, the human body can no longer maintain the same energy levels and performance as in youth. Everything begins to noticeably slow down. The internal organs, especially the heart and lungs, can no longer function at full capacity. The heart cannot pump blood effectively, causing circulation to weaken, and oxygen is not adequately supplied to the muscles. Therefore, activities that once seemed simple, such as standing up, walking, or even conversing, can become major challenges for the elderly. Moreover, the body begins to conserve energy. Instead of allocating energy to physical activities, the body prioritizes vital life functions such as breathing, blood circulation, and maintaining body temperature. This process also reflects the body's declining ability to recover, making feelings of fatigue more prolonged and harder to shake off despite rest. However, this slowing down is a natural response, not due to aging, but rather a necessary adjustment by the body to sustain life. The body can no longer sustain energy for everything, and thus prioritizes only the most basic functions. Slower metabolism and changes in sleep needs. Fatigue is not only manifested through a lack of energy, but is also clearly evident in the metabolic process. The body's metabolism, from digestion to energy production, becomes less efficient as elderly people enter this stage, since they no longer need to exert themselves as they once did. The body does not require as much energy for daily activities such as walking or working. Instead, the body directs all remaining resources to maintaining basic life functions. Therefore, sleep becomes an important factor during this stage. Elderly individuals may need more hours of sleep, or they may feel the urge to sleep during the day. This is not a sign of illness, but a natural change in how the body manages energy. Sleep becomes a tool for recovery and protection against further exhaustion. Additionally, during this stage, the body may no longer feel the need to participate in social activities or interactions as before. The withdrawal into longer sleep and reduced communication also reflects the body's shift when there is not enough energy for external activities. Emotional decline and the psychological impact of fatigue. Prolonged fatigue not only affects physical health, but also creates profound psychological changes. Elderly individuals not only feel tired, but also face negative emotions such as disappointment and shame. In the past, they may have taken pride in their independence, but now, when they must rely on others for basic needs, they feel a loss of autonomy, something they always wanted to preserve. Moreover, physical changes make the elderly more sensitive in communication situations. They may feel shy about joining conversations or simply do not want to bother others due to their sense of weakness. This easily leads to loneliness and disconnection from those around them, as they gradually withdraw into feelings of isolation and being unshared. This emotional decline is sometimes not easily recognized by close family members. Those who were once strong, cheerful, and full of energy may now become quiet, withdrawn, and unwilling to participate in activities they once loved. This can make family members feel helpless and unable to help, as they cannot fully understand the internal changes the elderly are going through. The role of family and community in supporting the elderly. At this stage, the role of family and community becomes extremely important. Loved ones may find it difficult to see their elderly gradually change and weaken. However, it is precisely understanding and love that will be the key factors helping them get through this stage in the smoothest way. It is important that the elderly are not forced to participate in overly strenuous activities, nor should there be excessive expectations of their energy. Instead, a peaceful, quiet living environment will help them feel more comfortable. Caring gestures, gentle conversations, and peaceful moments with loved ones can create an invaluable source of spiritual energy. Family and community can help ease the feelings of loneliness and disappointment that the elderly may experience. They need to be surrounded by love and sharing to feel that they are not alone on the final journey of life. It is this affection that helps them feel that although their bodies are weakening, their spirits are being soothed, and they're never left behind. In the final months of life, fatigue and debilitation are inevitable parts, but with care and love, the elderly can still find peace in their final days. Understanding and companionship from family are the most important things that help them feel loved and cherished. Number 3, increased cognitive confusion or emotional withdrawal. When a person approaches the final stage of life, changes in perception and emotions are an inevitable part of the natural aging process. These changes are not always immediately obvious, but when observed closely, they can become more apparent over time. One of the most important signs that family and friends may notice is cognitive confusion, something that often occurs gradually, yet leaves both the patient and those around them feeling puzzled and challenged. When the brain no longer receives as much oxygen and nutrients as before, the functioning of nerve cells gradually weakens, leading to a decline in memory, thinking, and information processing abilities. For those who were once sharp and insightful, the inability to remember the names of loved ones or forgetting important events can create a deep sense of loss, not only for themselves, but also for their caregivers. These changes may begin as fleeting moments of forgetfulness, but then become more frequent, to the point where the patient no longer recognizes familiar places or even their dearest loved ones. This is not merely simple forgetfulness, but a change in how the brain perceives and processes the world around it. Even short moments of clarity may appear interspersed with sudden episodes of confusion, making it difficult for loved ones to predict or emotionally prepare. For the patient, this change can bring a sense of disorientation, confusion, and even fear as they realize they no longer have control over their own thoughts. For families, witnessing a loved one lose their former lucidity can cause profound sorrow, as if they have already lost that person while they are still physically alive. In addition to cognitive confusion, the elderly often tend to withdraw emotionally. This is not a change in personality, but a natural response of the body to cognitive decline. Emotions become harder to control and sometimes no longer reflect their true feelings. Conversations that used to be easy to engage in now become burdensome, and the surrounding environment feels overwhelming and exhausting to them. Gradually, they may participate less in social activities, avoid gatherings, or simply choose to remain silent more often. This withdrawal can make family and friends feel abandoned, but in reality, it is just the brain's way of responding to its weakening state. They no longer have the ability to meet social demands as naturally as before, and facing complex, noisy situations can be too much for them. Many elderly people may become irritable or more anxious, while others may appear indifferent, distant from the things they once loved and cared about. Solutions and understanding. Facing these changes, maintaining patience and understanding is extremely important. Family and loved ones need to recognize that the changes in their loved one's behavior and emotions are not intentional, but are due to their body and mind entering a stage of preparation for the final transition. One way to help loved ones feel safer and more comfortable during this stage is to create a familiar, peaceful environment with minimal disruption. Quiet, gentle spaces will help them feel more at ease and avoid emotional overload. When meeting loved ones during this time, the best approach is to avoid forcing them to engage in complex conversations or expecting them to respond the way they used to. Instead, keep conversations simple and gentle. And don't forget to show love and care. Although they may not be able to respond immediately, they can still feel your presence, the warmth, and the love you offer. Sometimes, just sitting next to them, holding their hand, or simply listening is enough to create a sense of peace and connection. Cherishing the quiet moments. In reality, even when words fade away, love and comfort can still be deeply felt. That's when we need to cherish the quiet moments, the simple times shared without needing to speak. It is in these moments that true connection becomes most apparent, serving as proof of the love and care that the family has for their loved one. To support someone in this stage, instead of trying to make them function as before, we need to learn how to meet them where they are, understand and accept the change. Along with that, creating an environment that feels safe and peaceful will help them live more gently and comfortably during the final days of life. Number 4, frequent infections and slow healing. As the body begins to weaken over time, one of the most obvious signs we can notice is the decline of the immune system. Our immune system is one of the most important defense systems, helping to fight off the invasion of bacteria, viruses, and other pathogens. When the immune system weakens, the body becomes more easily attacked by pathogens. This can appear in many forms, but the most recognizable sign is the increase in infections and the prolonged recovery time. Repeated infections and weakened immune system. A person who previously rarely got sick may now catch colds, the flu, or other minor infections more frequently. Illnesses that used to go away quickly on their own now last for weeks, or even extend into months. Especially, small wounds like cuts or bruises may also take longer to heal. This is a clear sign that the body no longer has the ability to protect or repair itself as it once did, as the body gradually loses its ability to fight external factors. Repeated infections such as pneumonia, urinary tract infections, UTI, skin infections, and even oral infections become more common. These illnesses, although initially seeming simple, can drag on and become more serious if not managed in time. More concerning is that when the immune system is weak, even antibiotics that used to be effective now become less so. The patient may need to use stronger medications or go through multiple treatment courses to fully recover. The reduced effectiveness of antibiotics is an alarming sign of the decline in immune system health and the body's ability to recover. Slow healing. Warning signs you shouldn't ignore. Another equally important issue is chronic wounds. Small scratches, ulcers, or bruises that do not heal properly or tend to keep reopening and recurring can be signs of a more serious problem: poor blood circulation. When circulation is weak, blood cannot supply enough oxygen and nutrients to the tissues and skin, making wound healing very slow and difficult. In particular, pressure ulcers, commonly found in people with limited mobility, can become a major health risk. If not properly cared for and treated, they can lead to dangerous infections and become life-threatening. This becomes even more serious for the elderly or those with weakened health conditions. Infections in the elderly. Warning signs to watch for. The most concerning thing is that infections in the elderly don't appear as we might expect. Instead of familiar symptoms like high fever, older people may simply feel more tired, less alert, or have a decreased appetite. In fact, a sudden change in their level of alertness may be the first warning sign of an infection, even if typical symptoms like fever haven't appeared yet. In the elderly, identifying and responding to signs of infection becomes more difficult due to the declining function of organs in the body. Therefore, early detection of changes in mental and physical states can help reduce suffering and improve the patient's quality of life. Care and support. When treatment is no longer the top priority, when an elderly person experiences recurring infections, Pursuing aggressive treatments like antibiotics or hospitalization may not always be the optimal solution. Families are often drawn into the hope that one more round of treatment will fix the problem. But the reality is that when the body is already weakened, medication is only a temporary solution. Instead of continuing to pursue treatments that may not be effective, emotional support and gentle, comfortable care can bring more lasting benefits. Ensuring that the patient stays hydrated, keeping their skin clean and moisturized, and minimizing physical stress are crucial factors. These actions can help them feel more at ease and reduce fatigue during the final months of life. Awareness and proper care at the end of life. Ultimately, one of the most important things families need to be aware of is the change in how infections develop in the elderly. Families need to understand that infections don't always show clear symptoms like high fever or pain. Behavioral and mental changes may be warning signs before an infection becomes severe. Therefore, recognizing and responding promptly to signs of physical and mental decline will help ensure that the patient receives the best care and maintains comfort during the final stage of life. If you're watching this video and find the above insights valuable, please leave a comment saying number 4 below so I know you are following along. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue to create useful content to assist you in better understanding important health issues. As a person approaches the end of life, there are some clear signs indicating changes in the body that loved ones and family members can easily notice. One of the most notable signs is a change in breathing and circulation, critical elements of human life. These changes not only have a direct effect on the body, but also impact the emotions and psychology of those around. Changes in breathing rhythm. In the final stages of life, the patient's breathing rhythm will change in a very noticeable way. In particular, you may notice that your loved one's breath becomes slower, shallower, or even irregular. Sometimes, the patient may pause between breaths, and then the breathing may suddenly become faster before slowing down again. This creates a sense of instability for both the patient and their loved ones. One of the common and easily recognizable phenomena is the appearance of Cheyne-Stokes respiration. This is a breathing pattern that alternates between deep, rapid breaths and long pauses. Initially, it may only appear mildly, but over time, this phenomenon becomes more apparent and frequent. Each breath of the patient takes on a strange rhythm, making those around feel anxious. Unsure whether this is a sign of a serious problem. Irregular breathing, especially the appearance of Cheyne-Stokes respiration, can make the family feel confused and may cause them to want to intervene or become overly worried. However, this is often a natural part of the body's weakening process. Supportive measures, such as keeping the room air fresh, using a humidifier, or encouraging the patient to sip small amounts of water can help reduce discomfort. Circulatory weakening. Not only breathing, circulation is also an important factor in recognizing bodily changes at the end of life. When circulation weakens, the patient often feels their hands, feet, or even other parts like the nose and ears gradually becoming cold. This is a sign that blood is not circulating well to the limbs, as the body is prioritizing blood supply to vital organs like the heart and brain. The patient's skin may become pale, bluish, and sometimes show bruises or mottled spots, especially around the fingers and toes. These changes indicate that the heart is no longer pumping blood as strongly as before. The body's circulatory function is weakening, and the heart cannot effectively maintain blood flow through the organs and body parts. This leads to limbs like hands and feet feeling cold and no longer as flexible as before. Shortness of breath and changes in lung function. One of the clear signs of change is that the patient begins to have difficulty breathing. They may feel short of breath even when performing simple movements such as sitting up, changing positions, or talking. Mouth breathing becomes a frequent habit, and sometimes they need to pause to catch their breath while speaking. This is especially noticeable if the patient was previously able to perform these activities easily. Declining lung function can cause a feeling of suffocation, persistent coughing, and a gurgling sound in the chest. In elderly people nearing the end of life, coughing and chest tightness are often not signs of common cold, but rather indications that the lungs are gradually weakening. At this point, fluid may accumulate in the lungs, making it more difficult to breathe. The feeling of breathlessness may become more severe when the patient lies down, and they may try to elevate their head with pillows or lie in a recliner to ease the discomfort. Psychological and emotional reactions of the family. For the family and loved ones, witnessing these changes is a major psychological challenge. Feelings of anxiety and fear about the patient's condition often arise, especially when noticing irregular breathing, cold extremities, and pale skin. These concerns can lead to a sense of helplessness, not knowing whether to seek immediate medical intervention or let the body adjust on its own. Meanwhile, family members may feel the need to act immediately to help the patient, but in reality, these changes are a natural part of the body's decline. The most important thing at this time is to create a peaceful environment, helping the patient feel safe and comfortable. The presence of loved ones, gentle encouragement, and small actions such as keeping the room airy, helping the patient drink small sips of water, can help ease discomfort and bring a sense of comfort. Closing words. As we reach the end of this video, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've discussed. Significant weight loss, extreme fatigue, cognitive decline, frequent infections, and major changes in breathing and circulation. These 5 signs often appear in the year before an elderly person passes away. They may not occur all at once, and they may not always be obvious from the start. But when you begin to notice them, it's a sign that the body is preparing for the final transition. For many families, these changes can be difficult to accept. It's natural to want to fight them, to encourage a loved one to eat more, move more, or push through the exhaustion. But sometimes, the best thing we can do is listen to what their body is telling us. Instead of focusing on trying to reverse the inevitable, we can focus on making their remaining time as peaceful, comfortable, and meaningful as possible. Understanding these signs isn't about fearing death. It's about preparing for it. When you recognize these changes early, you can provide better care, make important decisions ahead of time, and ensure that your loved one's final months are filled with love and dignity. This is a time to cherish moments, share stories, and let them know they are valued and not alone. If you're noticing these signs in someone close to you, take a deep breath and remember, you're not alone on this journey. Many families have walked this path before, and while it's never easy, knowing what to expect can help you find strength, patience, and peace. Thank you for taking the time to join us in this conversation. Your thoughts and feelings are important to us. So please leave a comment below the video to share what you've learned and how you plan to apply this knowledge in your life. Your stories and experiences may be a great source of motivation for others facing similar situations. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with those around you. Your support is the motivation for us to continue creating valuable videos, providing useful information, and inspiring you. We'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.